Hi everyone, Sue Matsuki with another Sue's Muse. Today I have two wonderful muses, Donna Rubin and Josh Gladstone, who are the producers of the Hamptons Summer Songbook by the Sea series that I'm very intrigued by. But this year it's not being done in the Hamptons, it's being done at the Triad. So I want to talk to them a little bit about that. Let's start with you, Donna. Donna is a Broadway star, a singer, a performer, and now a producer. And Josh is actor, director, producer, jack of all trades. So we're very lucky to have both of you here on the program. Donna, I want to start with you first, a little bit about your background and how you came to be doing this program for the Hamptons Summer Songbook series.
Well, as it turns out, after running the hot yoga studios in Manhattan for 25 years, I finally decided, actually because of COVID and spending more time out here in the Hamptons, and my son was loving it out here, we just sort of made a decision that it would be the right time to kind of move out here full time. So it just so happened timing wise in terms of being able to sell my business to my partner and be able to come out here. And my son is going to school out here in Bridgehampton. And I was kind of officially, I guess you could say officially retired, but
Hmm.
one's never retired these days. And I just
Mhm.
really wanted to go back into my sort of show business, roots. And I don't know, as it turns out, Josh and I just timing wise hooked up, and he'll tell you how that all
Yeah,
came to
Josh,
be.
tell us how that happened and how long has this series been going on? I mean, I've known about it for a little bit of time, but I don't know how far back it goes.
Doesn't go that far back. So you're getting in on the early sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
Um, I became the creative director last year at LTV Studios in Waynescott, which is a wonderful 40-year-old television center dedicated to providing cable access TV, but more than that, to the East End community, founded by a guy named Fraser Doherty, who's a bit of a legend in East Hampton. Michael Clark is the executive director. He brought me on because around the time of the pandemic, they felt the studio was really being underutilized. As a nonprofit, it has a mission to serve the community. And Michael started to program some performing arts in their soundstage studio space, which is a big, flexible black box space that was designed really for film and television
Hmm.
production. But the Hamptons being what it is, the room itself is a little bit too small for major film and TV, and the Hamptons is too expensive for most producers who are working on any kind of project to bring crew out here. So this big empty soundstage sitting underutilized. And Michael knew that I had left after 21 years as the artistic director of the John Drew Theater at Guild Hall in East Hampton and was working as a freelance producer. And he said, "Can you help us expand our performing arts profile?" I said, "That sounds wonderful. What a great space. The capacity is just under 200 people.
Nice.
We can kind of do anything with it." So I thought, I know there's a market out here for American Songbook. Having run the John Drew for so long, that was a bread and butter, a staple of our programming. Lee Davis, who had passed away, but he ran a series called the American Songbook Presents, and that ran on Sundays for many years. Patricia Watt was a producer on that program, and I got to know a lot of artists from the city that would come out and do a night in the Hamptons. We worked with the Mabel Mercer Foundation at that time. Um, but so I thought this is an art form that the community loves. Guild Hall has moved away from that sort of programming. It's being done a little bit at Bay Street Theater, but I thought there's a real interest in this. Let's try that. So we did the first summer was 2 summers ago. We did 5 shows called American Songbook Then and Now. It was a pilot program. We had no idea who would walk through the door.
Hmm.
And during Mark Nadler's show, Donna Rubin walked through the door. Lucky for us, she was good friends with Mark. I guess, Mark, Donna, you're doing a documentary about Mark, right?
Are you really?
Well, I'm in the middle of trying to do a documentary about just cabaret in general, but Mark
Okay.
is.
Well, Mark is Mr. Cabaret, so it
Yeah,
stands to
no, I mean, we've
reason.
already done interviews and everything with him, and yeah, yeah. And I went on
Awesome.
his cabaret cruise, and he sung at my wedding, and
I went down to visit our friend Annie Hughes, and we were down in Walpaca, Wisconsin. So we all had like an event down there. We played together down there. Mark is just an amazing man and a great chef too. You knew that, right?
no, I
Great
know.
chef.
That I
So
didn't know.
when you produce out in the Hamptons, you produce at this black box TV
Yeah,
theater thing. And what was the decision to move over to the Triad for this particular program?
Oh, this is just we're calling it a friend raiser. This is just to bring attention to the series out in the Hamptons.
Okay.
And I just sort of felt that this would be a good way for the New Yorkers who, obviously they come out here for the summer, they would be able to be introduced to the series. It's a, fundraiser as well, of course, and which will help the series. And it just really, we did it last year for the first time. It's only one night. And it was really fun, and it really brought a really good energy and really good attention to the series. So this will be our second time doing it, but it's not like we're doing the series at the Triad. It's just that we're doing the one night there.
Well, it's a good place to do it because it's big enough and it's easy to get to and all that. So you have Eric Comstock, Barbara Fasano, Natalie Douglas, Mark Nadler, Katie Sullivan, Steve Ross, Mopey, Marta Sanders, Greg Rubano. I mean, you have this amazing, amazing cast of all stellar A-listers. And this is all happening, by the way, at the Triad on May 7th. And the show start time is 6:30. I want to stress that just so people don't get confused. Doors open at 6. And there's a new great restaurant right underneath the Triad now that if you want to kind of have supper and then go up to the show, it's a good deal. But tell me a little bit about how you curated this show. I mean, I know that you have a connection with Mabel Mercer, and I mean, obviously we all know these incredible names, but how lovely of everyone to say yes, put their hand up and say yes, let's do this. So how does that happen on your end? You just pick up the phone and say, would you like to?
you want to respond to that, Donna? Or I mean, it's
Go
a
ahead.
little bit of everything involved.
Bit of
Yeah, go
everything.
ahead, Josh.
Go ahead.
Well, the first year we did it, when it was American Songbook, it was really literally just me picking up my phone and calling a handful of artists who were interested and willing to take a chance. Christine Andreas, Sal Viviano, Anna Bergman, who was wonderful, who launched us 2 years in a row. And we're really excited to bring these artists back. Mark Nadler did the first year, as I mentioned, and that was Randy Levine Miller that said, "Oh, Donna, come and check this out at LTV."
So they're
For a
normally
shot.
solo shows. Is this the first group show or do you a combination of solo and group shows?
These were the first year was mostly solo shows,
Okay.
and then Donna came on board, having seen it, and I guess I was really fortunate because she was like, "I'd like to produce," and I was like, "Really? That's amazing," because LTV is very modestly budgeted.
Mhm.
So there was no staff but me running the performing arts division. And so Donna said, I'll do this because I'm excited to see what we can build. And that was a remarkable gift and still is, because I don't think we could have pulled it off the first year, which was last year when we rechristened it Hamptons Summer Songbook by the Sea. And Donna brought on an incredible graphic designer who created a beautiful series of ads for us, Raphael Pacini. And we launched. We did 8 shows last summer, and it was really a question of a number of folks returned, Anna and Sal Viviano, but also we brought in some new people that hadn't been with us in LTV before. It was the first season. Karen Akers did a night. We were lucky in the first year that David Alpern, who is very knowledgeable about Songbook and wrote for Newsday for many years and is very involved in the cabaret scene. He used to come to Guildhall to see all the Lee Davis shows. David said, this is great. How can I be involved? And we said, why don't you host a show? So he called Steve Ross and Karen, and this year Maria Abu is adding to them. And they're doing a redux this year called Best of the Verst Strikes Back, which is a show that David wrote, and it's all about these sort of lesser known songs and lesser known lyrics, and lyrics you may never have known started certain songs that are now chestnuts, and it's a sort of talky and esoteric and a lot of fun. Um, and some of the artists are just returns. Like we said, Mark is now three seasons running. We both adore him, even though he hasn't cooked for me yet.
When I use Mark for a show, I always make him close, not because he is obviously, but when you have all this talent, everybody's a closing act, right? I mean, everybody's a closing act, but I always make Mark the closing act because he's hard on the piano. Nobody wants to play the piano after Mark. So, now let me ask you something. This kind of triad show is kind of like a sampler of the best to point towards the series. What are your plans for next year, or are you going to continue this through the summer? Do you have a show lineup for the summers? What's going on here after this triad show?
Oh, so all the people that are performing at the Triad are all coming out this summer. So
That's what I assumed, yeah.
It's our whole schedule. The only people that are, well, I shouldn't say all, unfortunately, some were not available. So Marilyn May is opening our season out here, but she wasn't available. And Leroy Reams, he's doing his own show that same night at 50 Below, so he can't be there. And same thing with Liz Calloway. But all the rest of the performers, all of them will be out here with us. So we have our whole roster. It's all planned out starting on July 5th with Marilyn May. We're really excited, and goes through the summer. And again, it's 8 shows. And, we'll see how it goes. If it builds upon what we did last year, because last year was a very, very good year, very good summer. But still, a lot of people just don't know about it. And it's still a sort of a new thing out here. And so I'm busy, every single person I meet, I'm inviting to come and see these shows. Have you been to see a cabaret show? So I'm really trying to kind of get the excitement built up. So the word is spreading, and more people are starting to know about it. So of course, if it continues to go well, then we'll continue doing it and maybe expanding on it, which would be terrific.
Well, to those of you watching this, in addition to obviously having a link to direct ticket sales for the show at the Triad on May 7th of this stellar cast, I will also have a link directly to the website so that you can go check out the whole season. Maybe you want to go out, get a hotel, have some dinner, catch a couple shows, that's kind of like the New York thing to do these days. Who is, you say Marilyn May, and everyone on this list is a wish list person. Who is someone that the two of you hope to book someday?
Oh, we had 2 people that I was dying, well, a few people I've been dying to book, but putting together that schedule is a little bit tricky, right? I mean, in terms of timing, and actually, especially coming out here as well, because it's tricky with travel and where people stay and things like that. So there's a little bit of that has to sort of be taken into consideration. But my wish list, and then Josh can tell you his wish list, but I've been just dying to have Norm Lewis come out.
He's my Broadway crush. Everybody has that person.
Yes.
I already told my husband, Norm Lewis. I have a beautiful picture of me and Norm, and I told him he was my Broadway crush.
No, I just love him. I love Brian Stokes Mitchell, and I met Leslie Kritzer on the cruise, because I went on the Seth Rudetsky cruise, and Tony Yazbek. And anyway, there's just so many great people. What can I say? There's so many great people. So we hopefully will line them up for next summer, because they didn't get on this summer. And Josh, you have your
who's on your list, Josh?
Well, I have to say, I'm hoping we can grow and expand both the budget and the series length. But right now we've got 8 shows coming this summer. And we're getting to an interesting moment where people are now hearing about us a little bit. So we're getting wonderful artists that are reaching out to us now, and more artists are reaching out than we can accommodate at the moment. I'm hoping to expand. And then at the same time, we want to keep welcoming back those artists that helped us found it. So it's like, of course, I want to bring Anna Bergman back, and I want to bring Christine Andreas back. Tova Feldsha was here last summer and said she's got 3 other shows she'd like to do. We are working with Howard and Eleanor Morgan, who Howard is the chair of the Mabel Mercer Foundation. So we were interested in talking to them about how to involve the Mabel Mercer Foundation more robustly in the actual programming. And that's why Mark and KT are coming back with Natalie and Marta this summer for a special night that we're partnering with Cabaret Convention.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
I'm kind of hoping that maybe that's a relationship that evolves and that allows for nights where we do multiple nights with multiple artists, and maybe giving artists who are not as well known as some of our headliners, but who are young or emerging talent, giving them more of a showcase with the help of Mabel Mercer.
I mean, you could even like hook up with like 54 Below or Birdland and have them produce a night of maybe some of their top jazz acts or their top acts that are coming up a couple months down, and they can do a sampler out in the Hamptons. I mean, maybe they would produce something like that, because that way, the whole thing is, being a producer myself and the theater, the same thing. You want to bring back your family members and your residency acts, but you do have to make space for new acts because you want to keep things fresh, and the people aren't going to come back and see the same people over and over again, except for any one of these people on this list. I'd come back and see them, no problem at all. But it's kind of hard to interject new blood when you have so much stellar other blood. But I try to rotate every couple of years. I try to rotate my my roster, if you will. But yeah, those are amazing plans.
The
So
idea of partnerships with established venues and who are New York based is a great idea, and a great way to share resources. And we're totally open to that if anybody from those wonderful venues is watching. Hamptons is a great place for a run out and a great place to stake a flag in the sand for your New York programming to get people. I think there's a lot of synergy. This is obviously a second homeowner and vacationer crowd that are coming to see us. And I also say that Lynn and Bruce Surrey, Lynn, who runs the Al Hirschfeld Foundation, and that's why we're doing a show with Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano as the guest artists in Hirschfeld's Broadway, that Lynn and Bruce are very much involved in. And they're now talking about wanting to do a gala for us. And she said, Bernadette Peters, I want to get Bernadette Peters.
oh, she's delicious.
Oh my,
Bernadette's
could you
great.
imagine?
I just saw her do Old Friends. I just saw it. I'm telling you, that show was the best thing I've seen in so long.
I
mean,
know there's a lot of new shows on that I go and I'm like, I'm an old Broadway kind of gal. I like the, pomp and circumstance of a good old Broadway show, but there's a lot of new stuff that's coming up too that's pretty fun. But yeah, Bernadette has been just, a pillar of our community, both Broadway and cabaret, as is Norm. Norm is also Broadway cabaret crossover. But you guys have great taste, I have to say. You have excellent taste. I wish I can get some of the people to come down to my little theater to do what you're doing. I just want to, in closing up here a little bit, I just want to ask each of you, what is the best part and the worst part of what you're doing, of producing? Because it's frustrating and it's wonderful. So, Don, I'll start with you. Best and worst.
Well, the best part is being able to invite the talent to come. I mean, I just love it. And, I love being able to be in a position to offer somebody work. I love that. And I love watching the performances, of course. The worst part is selling the tickets. It's always like,
get in line, woman.
I know, it's such a pressure, and people don't understand that part of the business. You know what I mean? And it's on the producer to make sure the ticket sales and people come. If people don't come, there's no program. You know what I mean? So for me, that's my big thought process about.
It's frustrating for sure.
Frustrating.
And Josh, what about you?
Oh, it's certainly the shows. And I agree with Donna, the challenge of selling a show, building a series, producing, as you know, Sue, is, fraught. Traffic coming out to the Hamptons on a Saturday is a nightmare, and logistics of getting people placed in houses or hotels or hotel buyouts. There's a lot behind it. Staffing and everything that has to go with running a venue is a challenge, especially when you have a really moderate budget. However, the magic of what happens on stage when there's 200 people in the room, yet it's intimate, and the pianos, we have a beautiful baby grand Yamaha that was donated to us, and it's well tuned, and the lights are terrific, and there's sparkling candlelight and the flowers that Donna gets from Bridgehampton Florist up on the stage, and then somebody drifts out onto the sound stage. Karen Akers comes out, everyone applauds. and it is a breathtaking, and because of the intimacy of the space, it's a magical evening. Everyone's up close, right in it. You're transformed. You're not in a soundstage in the woods in Wainscott anymore. You're anywhere where the art is breathing, and that's always the best payoff.
I can feel the passion from both of you for the love of the arts. And on behalf of everyone watching today and Nightlife Exchange, I just want to say thank you for creating such an amazing series. And y'all, if you don't come to the show on May 7th at 6:30 at the Triad, where else do you want to be? Listen to that lineup. Look at the link right below this video and get your tickets, and we'll see you there. Thank you so much, Donna and Josh, for joining me today. And have a great day. And thank you for being part of Sue's Muse today. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Thanks, Sue, for having us.
We'll
Thank
see
you
you
for having
soon.
us. It was a pleasure to meet you, and we look forward to having you out here. I hope you're
I'm going to go check my dates right now because if I can make it, I'm going to go get me a ticket. Right?
check it out. Come on out. Yeah.
All right, my friends. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.